welcome back to the podcast. Today we will be discussing about women's mental health in honor of Women's History Month. And today we have a very special guest. We have Sylvia Sariano, who will be talking about the importance of women's mental health. So let's get started. Thank you so much for coming to be on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself and what is your role here at NJCU?
So again, thank you so much for having me. My name is Sylvia Serrano. I am currently the EOF OSP counselor, but I've worked in different capacities at NJCU. Previously, I was a therapist or counseling intern at the counseling center.
So what are some unique challenges that specifically impact women the most?
I think some of the things that I've seen working with women in the past is oftentimes of like societal pressures and expectations and having to live up to that, where like oftentimes women are seen as being the sole caretaker, right? Having to be this perfect person and being able to manage not only family but yourself, but also relationships and friends, and having to do everything together and have everything together. And if you're not that, then it's like society will see you as like less than, right? And then another thing is also just I saw oftentimes is women having to shut their feelings off a little bit, because if not, they'll get labeled as being too emotional, or they'll start having comments from people saying like, oh, are you on your period? And like having to like deal with some of those misconceptions, right? Where like they're not allowed to be themselves, right? They're having to compare themselves often with things and with social media and everything. So it's just like all of that gets bottled in. Mm-hmm. And that can lead to a lot of damaging things, because it's like if you just keep stuffing everything down, then at one point something's gonna pop.
So why do you think conversations about women's mental health are especially as important as to right now?
I think especially now there's conversations about women and mental health is so crucial, is because like women having to be in this day and age where like they have to juggle so many things, right? They have to juggle working, going to school, juggle their family life, right? And they have to juggle all these things while trying to maintain this idea of like societal perfection. Of like, and if
it's definitely like a lot to deal with.
Yeah, and then it's also like these expectations that are no one asked for, right? Like they're just being placed on you, and
they are human beings, and so I definitely think that like they deal with a lot. What are some of the most common mental health struggles you see women facing to this day?
I think from what I've seen in my experience of working with women, oftentimes it's having to set boundaries. It's really hard because it's one thing to first identify like what is a boundary, right? That I actually want to implement.
Right. Like,
and then
like what is a boundary?
Right? And a boundary can literally be anything from like I am not going to talk to anyone from 9 p.m. until after I wake up. That could be like a small boundary for someone, because they're tired, they don't want to talk. But it's sometimes easier said than done, because it's like, oh, but my friend texted me and I want to make sure I don't make them feel bad for like XYZ, or anything small, anything that makes you feel more secure about something. That's a boundary, right? And the reason for women sometimes it's really hard for them is because we are seen as caretakers. So it's like, oh, you're not you're being mean, or like you're being this, or you're being too hard to work with, or something along those lines, where it's like, oh, I don't want to do that. And it's like, oh, well, come on, just do it, right? And it's like, no, like you have those boundaries in place to protect yourself, to make sure that you don't overwhelm yourself, you don't burn out, because with all those responsibilities that women often have, it can lead to burnout.
How does social media influences women's mental health?
Well, I think social media in itself is its own beast. Because, you know, now that children, I feel like, especially young women or young girls are being exposed to social media at such a younger age now, right? Like when they're like 8, 7 years old and they have like TikTok, Instagram, or anything of that. And they see like popular celebrities and like, oh my goodness, like they look like this or they look like that. And it's
And
like,
you want to look like them.
right? Because those are the people who are popular. Those are the people who you see on the movie screens and everything and like on ads. And it's like, but it can lead to like body dysmorphia because it's like, oh, I don't know how my body should look like, right? What's the ideal body type?
Exactly.
And that can lead to a lot of things, and it can lead to like eating disorders and all these things that are really hard to tackle. But I think one of the biggest things is like, I've always told my younger clients is like, we have to keep in mind that social media is fake in some respects, right?
It is fake in some respect. It is not the real world out there.
Exactly. And there's a lot of editing tools and a lot of editing images and like Photoshop.
With AI as well.
Exactly. So there's even more, right, coming up where like all these things are like, they're not realistic. They're not real world. They're not reality. Right? If you look at pictures of celebrities, you think they have like perfect skin and they have all these things. But if you go on other images from online, you find out they have acne scars and you find out like, yeah, of course they do. It's human skin. Human skin isn't immediately perfect. And if they do have clear skin, they also have access to medical treatments and they have access to all these different things that the regular person doesn't. And I think sometimes it's like reminding ourselves like what we see on social media is something that's very curated. Right? It's something that's specifically done for a specific purpose.
Exactly.
And it's not real world. It's not the real life. It's not reality.
And for my last closing reflection question, if you had to send one message to all of the women who are struggling with mental health, what message would you say to our viewers?
If you are struggling with mental health and you are a woman, I think oftentimes it's first accepting it and kind of saying like it's okay, right? That not everything is in your control. And that's a really hard truth to kind of take in. But it's okay because there are people around you who can support you. And even like here at NJCU, right? We have the counseling center. There are different resources available to you that are completely accessible to you. Don't feel
free.
Yeah. Like don't feel like it's something that it's so hard and it's so difficult to find and it's like it's not for me. You don't know that. Give it a try. See what can happen, right? Don't take out the option without even trying it. And especially if you are an NJCU student, right? There are people here who are here to support you, and it's okay to not feel okay. And
exactly.
I think just kind of accepting that truth and kind of going from there.
This will be the ending of our episode, so we'll be back with more episodes coming up soon. Peace.